After reading a newspaper article about parking meters in America, Cale Andersson designs the first Swedish parking meter. It's called Orb and allows 1 hour of parking for 2 25-öre coins. That is how it might have sounded like in 1955. Since then, Cale has become a world-leading supplier of parking solutions. This is our story. Cale is founded by Cale Andersson and his cousin Lennart Fungdahl.
They founded the company in 1955. It was the CA for Carl Axel and LE for Lennart that together became Cale.
His hometown Gävle was the first city to make use of his parking meters, 18 of them in all, and they were placed around the city hall. Orders soon followed from Gothenburg, Sundsvall, Borås and other cities. And during the 1960s, orders also came in from Finland and Norway. 1970 is a milestone in the company's history when Cale launches its first parking terminal with tickets. And the parking terminals developed rapidly.
In 1976, we designed the world's perhaps first microprocessor-controlled parking meter, which leads up to the release of MP 5005.
When the microprocessor arrived, it was easier to set tariffs and much quicker to make tariff calculations.
The launch of the MP 5005 was a breakthrough for terminals in the early 1980s. It opened the door to many markets and became a top seller which survived throughout the decade.
The product functioned so well, you could say it became the basis for our entire export growth during the 1980s.
And with the successor MP 8008, Cale could assume an important position in the capital as an important order was received from Stockholm City in 1987, which aimed to replace more than 10,000 individual parking meters.
This was very important because it was a new product and we had previously found it very difficult to break into the Stockholm market, but that all changed when this order came in, along with all the orders that followed.
In 1986, Cale Andersson sells the company. To go from a family-owned business to a large company provided financial muscle and enabled a more structured expansion abroad.
In 1988, Alma Invest AB went public, and therefore Cale had to follow all the stock market regulations, which meant overall we developed a much better structure and accounting system.
We released the first back-office program in 1989. It was a DOS-based software that made it possible for the parking terminals to communicate with a central computer.
The first back-office program was called TMA89 and was essentially created for statistical processing. You had the possibility to actually see revenues. You could compare the calculated revenues in the terminals against those that were in the coin boxes, which all helped to prevent cheating.
In the 1990s, the company grows even faster. In 1990, Cale receives a large order from Copenhagen City and 2 years later from Amsterdam. Cale becomes a market leader in the Nordic countries. From the late 1990s onwards, more and more subsidiaries are created, and today Cale is represented around the world by subsidiaries and distributors.
The terminals and software that control and monitor them are becoming more and more sophisticated. In 2003, we released Cale Web Office.
The difference between the Cale Web Office and the old back office system was that the Web Office was internet-based. This made it possible to work from any location on a ticket machine situated anywhere in the world.
In 2004, Cale sold to Mellby Gård. It provides a boost to the company that must now stand on its own 2 feet.
As Cale developed into an independent concern, I, along with the entire management team and company, were able to focus and invest in the development of the Cale Group. We also had great financial support because our owner, Mellby Gård, had very strong financial muscle, and therefore we could continue expanding both our subsidiary as well as our main overall development.
2004 is also an important year to the company since the city of Gothenburg orders 500 terminals.
That was an important order for Cale, as we strengthened our position in the Swedish market.
Cale Web Terminal is a new generation of terminals that the company releases in 2007, which along with the new Cale Web Office 2 allows for more powerful functions and integrations with other systems. Calgary and Amsterdam are the first cities to make use of the payment and monitoring concept based on a vehicle's registration number, so-called pay-by-plate. In 2009, the company's largest and most important order ever is received. Chicago orders 4,700 terminals. This means that Cale is given a real foothold in the US market.
When you consider all the system requirements that were needed, as well as the short lead time, we were forced to streamline several production processes, as well as our development work. This whole situation required us to step up and really focus when it came to systems literacy. It helped strengthen our position in North America for the long term, and of course on the world market, because it was the largest order ever for our industry.
3 years later, we gain a further foothold on the US market when Pittsburgh orders the first large-scale implementation based on pay-by-plate in the US. Initially, 540 CVT compacts are ordered. This was increased to over 900 a year later. We are still a Swedish company, and since the start, we have supplied approximately 600,000 parking meters and more than 100,000 parking terminals. Today, there are more than 50,000 parking terminals connected via Cale Web Office around the world. Today, we offer an integrated total solution for parking that make use of parking terminals, mobile payments, and permit solutions. Both payments and permits, such as residential parking, are linked to a vehicle's registration number. Traffic wardens can easily monitor parking areas by scanning a vehicle's license plate. The whole operation can be planned, managed, and monitored with Cale Web Office. We call it Parking by Cale. To remain in the forefront, we are reinvesting in average 10% of our turnover in research and development. No matter how tomorrow looks, you can rest assured that Cale will be there, delivering state-of-the-art technology and solutions for parking.